Hi, community. How are you? This is Janine Macklin. I am your transformational speaker, wealth guide, and catalyst. And I'm the visionary behind the brand Spirit and Riches. Let me tell you a little bit about that in case you're not sure. I believe we live in an abundant society, abundant world, a benevolent world, and universe. Not just this world we have is just one little planet. There's thousands of them. And that as you look at every tree and you see the leaves on every tree, then you recognize that that's the abundance that we live, move, and have our being in. We're like surrounded in it. So that's just my own philosophy. That's my mindset. What's yours? Are you living in a world where there's not enough? Do you think that there's a shortage of money, of time, of love? Are you finding that your thinking is that you have to do something because there won't be enough or you may run out? And what about money? Were you brought up in an awareness or a consciousness that there's not enough, that money doesn't grow on trees? I think it does. That certain people can have money and certain people can't have money. That where the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. There is some truth to that. What is it for you? Because one of the biggest pieces for me when I wanted to make my shift around money, there was one thing that I had to do. Because I tried a lot of different things at first. And it was interesting to me that nothing seemed to work. I could set up a plan, and then 2 or 3 months later, I was back to my old way of doing things. I could start saving. 2 or 3 months later, I'd gone into the savings account and used the money. I could say I was going to use money like when my income tax would come, and I was going to save it. I was just counting on it. I was going to save it. I'd save a little bit of it, but eventually I would spend it. Does that resonate with anyone? Am I the only one that had these habits and patterns? Well, part of why I'm doing the Manifest Money Now live is because that was what I grew up with. And everything else about money I had to learn through trial and errors, through bankruptcy, through high credit scores and then low tumbling credit scores, through learning about interest rates and FICO scores. See, none of that was discussed at my dinner table when I was growing up. My parents didn't talk about savings account, retirement accounts. None of that was discussed. They didn't talk about stocks. We didn't talk about stock investment or any of that. So I have to figure I'm probably not the only person that missed out on the education and the knowledge when it comes to money. So I just kept doing what I had been doing because here's the thing, I thought I knew. And when I look back on it, I'm like, how did I think I knew anything about money? All I knew was how to spend it and barely how to save it. Does that relate to any of you? I knew how to spend it. Spending money is easy. But what about sustaining it? What about managing it? What about attracting more? More importantly, what about growing it? That was never discussed. So if you're anywhere near like I was when I was growing up and trying to understand between my 20s and 45s and 50s, then you don't have the information, just like I didn't have the information to move toward wealth, to move toward a legacy, to move out of debt. Because see, let me tell you, I was in debt, I don't know, $8,000 maybe, 10, paid it off. I paid it all off, clean. And what did I say to myself, right? I said, oh, I'm not gonna get in debt anymore. I'm not gonna use my credit cards anymore, right? What did I do? Same thing you did? Ran the credit cards all up again. So that lets me know it's not just that you change this or you don't do that. There's some specific shifts and changes that we have to make so that when the time comes and we have the income tax check coming, the refund, and we actually have made a commitment for where that money is going to go, that we honor that commitment and that money goes where it's supposed to go, that our savings is honored for what it is, that we have the emergency fund. Well, there's several pieces to that it took me a long time to recognize on my own because no one was teaching me, also because I wasn't asking. I kept praying, I kept worrying, I kept crying, and I kept stressing. And I have to tell you, those 4 strategies will not work to move you toward the financial freedom you deserve and is available to you. And I'd love to spend 3 days with you talking about how do you reframe your beliefs? What is that one thing that shifts everything for you when it comes to your money? How do you monetize your value if you're an entrepreneur or just period on the planet so you know the value you bring? And then last day, let's talk about building the quality life that you keep hearing about, or you may be living it and you want to go to the next level. Let's build that quality life. And more importantly, what are the initial steps that you can take now to create a legacy? And I know if you're like me, I wasn't thinking about legacy. I don't think I thought about legacy until my son arrived. But what is it? What are the shifts that you can make? And if I did them, you can do them. I'm just talking to you about what it is that you can do that you may not know, because we didn't get, some of us, I'm sure some of you did not get the financial, money education and knowledge and wisdom that many others may have gotten. And I say it's time to disrupt that conversation in your head about money, step into the abundance that's available to you, snatch back your power, and then be in action for the results that you want to see. I'm Janine Macklin, your transformational speaker, wealth guide, and catalyst, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you.